quick video teaching you how to import an image into GeoGebra and potentially fit a model to it afterwards, but I'll just show you how to import the image and how to sort of set it up to begin with. So you're going to need to go to GeoGebra. I've got it saved in my bookmarks, so if you haven't, just type in GeoGebra, and then hopefully you've already created a profile already, like a little online account, free online account. If you haven't, then you need to do that. Okay, so go to New, GeoGebra Math Calculator. Here it is. I'm going to import the image from here. So see this little point here? I'm going to go Image. I'm going to import my image. So the image I've got imported is a cliff jump in Mexico from an area called La Quebrada. So if you're doing the same one as me, make sure you've got that image already. I've got it saved to my desktop. Make sure it's saved somewhere. Whatever image it is you're trying to import, make sure you've got it saved because you need to now import it from somewhere. So import, great. So you can move it around, do all sorts of things. You can make it bigger using this little point here. Okay, so for me to do it, I sort of know this. As I said, this is a cliff jump from a place in Mexico near Acapulco. It's an area called La Quebrada. And people cliff jump from cliffs as high as 30 to 40 meters, and it attracts a lot of spectators because it's quite dangerous and exciting to watch. So we're going to try to fit a model to kind of this trajectory. So notice you can't really see the axis behind it, so right click on the image and go to settings, and then if you go to color, you can adjust the opacity. Let's make it a bit more opaque so I can sort of see. Because what I want to do is I want this little point where his shorts are to be the entry point, so 0, 0. And I'm going to make it so that this little ridge here, I know is at about 32 meters high. So I need it to adjust it so that it's kind of a bit more to scale, which is a bit hard to do unless I've made the image a bit more opaque. So notice that my scale's not even up to 32 yet, so I'm going to use my touchpad to scroll out a bit. So I'm scrolling out so I can actually see up to 32 meters. So it would be pretty hard to set it. So there we go. So I've got to kind of go down because he's got to be down there. I've made him too high up because I want, as I said, this little point here to be at about 32. I'm going to be a bit fastidious about this. Trying to do it to scale as much as possible. So I know it's around 32 meters, that rock, supposedly. So here's his little shorts. I'm going to actually plot points according to where his shorts are because he's kind of spinning around. I could have chosen his feet, I could have chosen his head, his hands. I'm choosing his shorts because it's kind of, he does a flip, so the shorts tend to be kind of a reasonably good indication of where his center is at the time. So let's see. Yep, that's at about 32. That's pretty good. But now I need to try to lock the position. Now it's a little bit crooked here too. I should straighten it up a bit. Now I'm going to try to lock the position. So to lock the position, go to Settings, Position. So see Basic, you can go Fix Objects, but then when you do that, you need to click off A and B, and that's going to get annoying because it's going to mess you right up, you might find. You're welcome to experiment. But I find if I manually type in what these coordinates are, see the coordinates of A, it's told us back here, it's at negative 7.84 and 3.01. So putting a bracket, negative, type it in very carefully, 7.84, comma, because it's a, you know what are these things, coordinate. The y coordinate is negative 3.01, and the bracket's already there, so enter. There you go. So what it's done is it's locked that in for me. For B, I'm going to now type in the B coordinate. So open a bracket. No need to close the brackets at the end because see the bracket's already opened. So if you had trouble in the above one, it's because your brackets were already open. There was no need to add a second bracket at the end. So 19.42, comma, negative 3.04. I wouldn't rush this. No need to close the bracket because as you can see it's already closed. There you go. Now it's locked. Now we can go to Basic, Fix Object. So now notice it won't shift around anymore. And beforehand, if I didn't manually type in those coordinates, then when I deleted off these, because they're annoying, then the shape would have shifted a bit, I found. So I find it by locking it in myself that it's worked out okay. So it's set up nicely. If you want to adjust your axes, you can do all sorts of things. X-axis, you can adjust the position of your axis and all that kind of thing, the units and all that kind of stuff. I just want to put in a label. So my X-axis, I'm going to call the distance from point of entry in meters, because the point of entry in here, so as we go across here, we're measuring the distance, or it's the horizontal distance from the point of entry. So if you want to, you can specifically say horizontal distance. Horizontal distance from point of entry, units are meters. So I didn't put in the unit here, I just typed it in manually. I find that easier. So there it is, my little thing. And also the y-axis. The x-axis, I don't like the word horizontal being there. I'm just going to change it back to distance. Oops. Distance from point of entry. There you go. And for my y-axis, it's the height. So you can call it height above sea level, I guess, in that case. So it's a label, height above sea level in meters. Be more specific if you want, that's okay. So see, I've got some axes here now, which is pretty cool. You can do all sorts of things. So I can zoom out a bit if I want to see it a bit better. So if you want to, you can take, like, export the file as an image in case you want to paste it into an assignment. You can also just snip it. That's another way you can do it. Just use your snipping tool and snip what you need to snip. That also works pretty well. All that stuff. So see, by snipping, I just mean, like, if I need to snip it, I can snip it. And so on. Let's get rid of that. Notice my labels right off. So I can adjust the axes and everything like that too. But that's, there we go, just like that. And so on. But yeah, so you can adjust that yourself. And then in the next video, I'm going to show you how I can fit a model to this.